I just taking this moment in, it is so absolutely amazing to be standing here in front of people. I've been telling jokes for 2 years and had no idea whether anyone even got them. So this is quite a joy to be back in front of people again. Okay. In my 9 years of being here, I've preached on forgiveness probably 4 or 5 times. And out there, and I'm a sermon junkie, I read and listen to other people's sermons all the time. There is an enormous amount of sermons on forgiveness from all religions and many non-religious sources as well. Forgiveness is a big topic. And I'll pose a question to you. Do you know why preachers preach so often on forgiveness? And it's likely because as humans, we're so lousy at it. Okay, here's a story. And if this story's not true, it should be, okay? So, congregation was looking for a new minister. And so they interviewed people, and they had what we call here a candidating service, where the minister at a far off place does, and the search committee goes to the new location away from the church and listens to the sermon. And Pastor Patricia was fabulous. She did a sermon on forgiveness that just blew everyone away. The whole search committee was just like, wow, what a great preacher. So they recommended to the board, and the board hired Patricia. Patricia comes to the service and preaches the first Sunday, same sermon. And so the search committee says, yeah, that was a good sermon. That was really good. And it's all about forgiveness. And yeah, that's a good message. Second Sunday, Pastor Patricia preaches the same sermon. And the search committee and the board said, okay, well, maybe some people weren't there the second Sunday she was there, and she just wanted to make sure everyone heard the message of forgiveness. Third Sunday, same sermon. Okay, so now people are getting a little nervous, saying, okay, we heard this about forgiveness already 3 times. Fourth Sunday, same sermon. So now the board gets upset, and they go and they talk to Pastor Patricia and say, what's going on? You're preaching the same sermon over and over. And she said, as soon as this congregation accepts and embodies forgiveness consistently in all matters, then I'll go on to the next topic. The error in Pastor Patricia's ministry is she thought it was the minister's role to help people. Ministers don't help people. The most I can hope for is that you awaken enough to help yourself. For there is only one person in the universe that you can change, and that's yourself. Yes, you can find inspiration, you can find insight in another person, and you can enjoy what they say and learn from them, but they can't help you. You will remain unaware and asleep if you believe they're helping you, because there's only one person who can change you, the only one who can help you, and that's yourself. Forgiveness is difficult for most of us because we don't like being hurt. We are pain adverse, and we react to harm done to us with defensive anger. We all carry hearts that have been wounded, hurt, and are marked with the scars of painful arrows shot into us. Some of those wounds are small and healed over. Some are deep, open, unhealed. Most of us have a mixed up understanding of forgiveness. I think we've been given some really poor guidance on the roles of forgiveness on a spiritual journey. We've been taught that forgiveness is a moral obligation, but it is not. It is a moral right, which we can choose to exercise or not. But I do not believe we are morally obligated to forgive a person who has hurt us. See, it goes back to our childhood. Too often as children, we were told, forgive and forget. Just forgive the person who broke your toy and forget about it. That never worked for me. Or we were told, shake hands and return to being friends after a fight, as if shaking hands were some sort of healing balm that instantly healed the wounds in your heart. And we could not forgive, and when we could not forgive someone, we were told as children, you're not trying hard enough. There's even a weighty religious tome about this. I'm sure you know it. To err is human. To forgive, divine. Also known as a moral obligation. But this kind of advice doesn't heal a wounded heart. The wound just festers. Much of this bad advice is because it doesn't distinguish the difference between forgiveness and acceptance. Acceptance is an acknowledgement that something harmful happened and that you can't change it. Acceptance doesn't mean the harm done is gone. It just means that harm was done. Acceptance is not forgiveness. Forgiveness is far more complex. Forgiveness has nothing to do with facts. It has to do with how you handle the holes in your heart. Now, there are several ways to deal with your heart's unhealed wounds. One very common method is numbing. And you can numb a hurt heart with shopping, booze, chocolate, Netflix, exercise, drugs, and maybe you've done this, and maybe all in the same day. But numbing doesn't transform your pain. Numbing only allows your pain to grab a stronger hold on your soul. Franciscan priest Richard Rohr says it this way: if we do not transform our pain, most assuredly we will transmit it. If we do not transform our pain, we will most assuredly transmit it. And to whom do we transmit our pain? Usually those closest to us, our family, our neighbors, co-workers, and invariably our most vulnerable, our children. And sometimes we transmit that pain to ourselves. Numbing doesn't transform pain, it magnifies it. There's another way of dealing with pain in our heart, and that's to rehearse it. Rehearsing pain means that we don't let go. We dwell on it, reliving the hurt, the betrayal, the anger over and over. We concentrate on the event, the words, the harm done to us. And rehearsing the pain over and over exacerbates it, making the wounds grow larger and the hurt more. So I had a friend, Italian. His mother came over on the boat. He was Sicilian. He was raised by his mother and his grandmother with this family motto: there is nothing sweeter in life than revenge. Sicilian. When you rehearse the conflict in your mind, and when you keep rehearsing the mistakes you've made, you're actually re-traumatizing your body over and over again. Your body thinks it's happening again. This rehearsing, this re-traumatizing is not transforming your pain. It harms you spiritually and physically. But there's another way to deal with pain of a wounded heart, and it is the most difficult. And it offers no quick solution, no easy solution. And there's no guarantee that all will be well in the end. However, it is the only path toward a wholeness of spirit, the only process where you can get unstuck on your spiritual journey, and it is forgiveness. Forgiveness begins as recognizing that we are the ones carrying the wounds, and that only we can decide how to deal with this pain. Here's some clippings from the Book of Yom Kippur readings. Forgiveness is a conscious, deliberate decision to release feelings of resentment or vengeance toward a person or group who has harmed us, regardless of whether or not they actually deserve our forgiveness. Forgiveness means no longer building your identity around something that happened to you in the past, realizing that there's more to you and more you can do. Forgiveness puts the past in its proper perspective, and we realize that the injuries and injustices done to us are just part of life and just a part of us rather than who we really are. Forgiveness is letting go of the intense emotions attached to the incidents from our past. We remember what happened, but we no longer feel intensely angry, frightened, bitter, resentful, or damaged because of it. That's what forgiveness is. It's not that it didn't happen. It's just that we're not bleeding from it anymore. And forgiveness can be an option once the pain from the past stops dictating how we live our life today, and how we realize that what once happened to us doesn't determine our future. This ain't easy. It may be the hardest part of your spiritual and emotional life. Forgiveness, it's an inside job. It's totally up to us to initiate it and follow through with it. And it takes time. It takes persistence. And along the way, others keep shooting arrows. There's meanness out in the world. You will be shot in your heart again. And some of us shoot arrows into our own heart in the form of shame and guilt. Forgiving ourselves is the most inside of all inside jobs, because we still hold the bow and arrows and we know where to aim. Maybe this is why we're so bad at this. It's really, really hard. The wounds in our heart caused by others or ourselves, they don't go away. The best we can hope for is that the wounds of the past don't dictate our future. And the only way I know to separate the past harms from the future is forgiveness. My prayer is that all of us give up hoping for a better past, that we deny the anger that keeps hate alive inside of us. May we release our resentment, not because we've accepted what happened, but we do it to heal ourselves. Lay your burdens down so you are free to begin again in love. Amen. Blessed be.